Don't share my location. If you're going to share
Don't
your
blow up
location,
my
fine.
spot.
Exactly. Hello and welcome to Outside the Fox, where we explore what's happening online and why it matters. My name's Ajay Patel.
And I'm Kim Horcher, and today we are talking about something that affects a lot of people, maybe all people, keeping safe while traveling, specifically staying safe online.
You mean like I shouldn't be connecting to any single public Wi-Fi network out there?
Well, if you do, definitely enter your social security number. No, we're not doing that. We were joking.
No, seriously though, when you go to, like, let's say you're traveling to a different state or a different country and you want to connect to the Wi-Fi, do you often use like the public Wi-Fis or?
Not really. The only issue is I used to connect to all AT&T Wi-Fi hotspots,
Sure.
and then it just automatically connects me. So I have to be careful and check, like, what am I connected to? Is it LTE or is it this hotspot that it thinks I want?
But what's the biggest downside? I'm someone that goes in public and I connect to any Wi-Fi.
Well, are you entering passwords?
Sometimes,
Are you going to your
yeah.
banking information?
No, I will
Okay,
say,
okay.
I will say, one thing I keep in mind when I'm traveling and I'm using public networks is, okay, is there something that I'm inputting that I would not want to be seen by someone else? Whether it's a message, a password, whatever it is, a credit card number, like I think that is one thing that I've been kind of hesitant on because I never know, right? Like who's watching my screen?
That's good. That's a good instinct because they are highly exploitable, especially public Wi-Fi or seemingly public Wi-Fi, but really it's some little trap.
Yeah, someone could just be lurking at the coffee shop waiting for me to connect.
Yeah.
What would you do instead of connecting to a public Wi-Fi?
I just use the LTE. I'll
Okay.
pay for it. It's
Yeah.
fine. Or I just won't do it. Ideally, no work and no transactions at all on my phone when I'm out, unless it's like tap to pay. I'll do that. But
I feel like the world has like blown up on this though, of people traveling, whether it's the digital nomad, the passport bros of, you can work wherever you want. And now there's all this information just floating around.
well,
whether it's
maybe
the
they
different-
have a VPN.
So before we go to, much further than that, what is a VPN?
It's a virtual private network,
Okay.
and essentially it masks your IP address. It makes you a little less vulnerable and identifiable when you're online.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that would be very helpful when not getting your, passwords and
Yeah.
personal information connected to your identity.
So I have a trip next week.
I do too.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So perfect. What are some things that you're going to do, whether it's beforehand or while you're at your trip, to kind of keep your digital ID safe?
Well, I'm going to update the apps that I typically use before I need to use
Sure.
them.
Right.
Because I don't have automatic updates on because it's just overwhelming for me. And I only have so much space on my phone. But I'm going to try and update them all ahead of time. I'm going to try not to go to my banking accounts while I'm out.
Okay.
But if I must, I won't use any weird links.
Right.
I will use my secure portals. I will only go to websites that begin HTTPS
Okay. That's a
for a
big
secure
thing.
site.
Uh-huh.
And I am going to disable my auto connect feature, which is the issue that I had previously.
Yeah. How often are you kind of backing up your information? Like
Not
on a regular
enough,
basis?
truly not enough. So I need to do that. The issue was I didn't have enough space on my computer, but I just got a new drive, which
Yeah.
I have space for now. So now I can do it. It's just going to be a little bit of a pain. But sometimes, taking time ahead of time to do the boring thing saves you from a lot of headaches later.
And a lot of regret.
Yeah.
Because I am someone that definitely, like oftentimes it's just when I get a new iPhone or maybe a new Apple device and I see, oh, the last time I backed up my device was maybe 4 months ago or 2 weeks ago. And it's like, oh, I need to be more conscious
it's
about like, okay, you know what? I feel like it's a milestone. I need to go run it back up. So definitely, I think, in this next week when I'm traveling, I'm going to make sure, okay, let me go to the settings, make sure everything's backed up just in case.
Let's do that while
Just
we're
in
packing.
case,
We'll let it
yeah.
run while we're packing the luggage, and it'll be part of the habit.
It's going to be like a part of your to-do list before going.
Yes.
One thing that I also want to cover is, like when you are on a trip, do you often see, whether it's yourself or others, how, do you perceive how other people are with their phones? Do you feel like people show a lot of information that they may not just be conscious of, or
Do you mean digitally or do you mean like with the physical phone?
yeah, digitally. So one thing I think of is sometimes when I'm on the train and I see people on their laptop and I see them going to whether it's a banking website, a work website, and it's like, oh, you guys are just doing this out here with no screen shade or anything like that.
That's their choice.
Yeah.
I wouldn't do it. I do hope they have VPNs if they're
Yes.
using that whatever train Wi-Fi, or I don't think they have a SAT connection.
Yeah.
But maybe this is our reminder when we travel, like, oh, be sure to do this, be sure to do that.
Yeah.
But it's an all the time thing. We go into public often, and maybe we get comfortable and we forget because our phone's something we always have, and it's something we do get very comfortable with.
Yeah.
So maybe it's time to think about utilizing different digital protections on our phones. For instance, Firefox has enhanced tracking protection. I think that's pretty self-explanatory, makes you a little bit harder to track and therefore identify and therefore rob or impersonate.
Yeah.
There's HTTPS only mode, which
Perfect.
already scans out,
Right.
we need to have this web address only. And then there's total cookie protection. So it makes you a little less trackable and therefore less identifiable and therefore less easy to target.
And Mozilla has their own VPN, right?
Yeah, they have a VPN as well. So it's
Oh, wow.
a lot easier than you might think to
just
make yourself
flip it
ready to
on.
go.
One other thing I wanted to talk about is I often find myself always looking for directions. And I
Mm-hmm.
have my phone in my hand and I'm just, wandering around, my head's in the
Oh,
sky.
no, don't do that.
I know, it is
That's
so
the sign
bad.
that says, I'm a rube. Please,
Yeah, seriously.
take advantage of me.
And then I see these videos online of people on these electric bikes coming up on the right next to the sidewalk and just snatching someone's phone and then just driving off. Do you have any experience using AirTags?
Yeah.
Okay.
I actually have one in my luggage and one in my purse.
Easy to use, or have you found it more cumbersome, or?
No, it's pretty easy. The
Yeah.
battery has lasted and lasted for mine, and it pings me when I'm too far away from my stuff.
Okay.
So it's a little annoying where it's like, your luggage was left behind, and I'm like, of course it was. I left my hotel room. But it's good to know where it is, and good to have that little reminder to be vigilant of where
Yeah.
my stuff is.
And it gives you a nice little transparency of okay, I can track this wherever.
I
it
put one in
goes.
my car when it was getting repaired, just to make sure my car wasn't doing any
no
funny
one's going for a
business.
joyride
Yeah.
in your car.
In my so fun to drive Prius.
But still, I think that's awesome. I think a lot of people, it has become a common practice, is to buy a pack of 3 AirTags, throw it in a piece of luggage, maybe a laptop case, and then of course a car. There's a big world of kind of checking in.
Yes.
So I see this oftentimes on Facebook feeds or Instagram where someone will go to a restaurant or a city, whatever it is, and then tag, hey, this is where I'm at. Or, hey, I'm at this restaurant
Sure.
live right now. What are your thoughts on that?
I tend not to say where I am, or I post way later when I've already left.
I definitely think it is something in my opinion, to avoid. I have friends that actually love doing it. As soon as they go somewhere, they'll check in on Facebook, tag who they're with.
Well,
I'm not
on Facebook,
I never
period,
approve
but-
that tag. And it's like, hey, leave me out of, don't share my location. If you're going to share
Don't
your
blow up
location,
my
fine.
spot.
Exactly. You also told me that you will sometimes do the check-in thing, but much after.
Much later.
Okay.
When I'm gone.
Yeah.
I'll say, here I am at blah, blah, whatever.
Yeah. So I actually want to bring it back to the top where we talked about public Wi-Fi. When do you feel safe using a public Wi-Fi network?
I'm always a little dubious.
Okay.
Because even if it's like sweet granny's nice coffee shop,
Uh-huh.
I think, what if someone's on this network?
Sure.
Or if it's a fake name?
So when do you think, okay, yes, I can trust this Wi-Fi source?
Ooh, if I know who set it up.
Okay. What about if it's like, you trust like the bigger companies, such as like, let's say you go to a Starbucks in a different country. Do you think you would trust that Wi-Fi network more than AJ's hot dog stand in whatever country it is?
What the heck?
Yeah, well, just those are the instances.
I would feel safer with a VPN, but I
Okay.
wouldn't feel 100% safe.
Got it.
I probably would not enter my credit card info, to be honest, to be perfectly honest. And I don't know if everyone's like me, but that's just my comfort level.
Sure.
It would make me happier not to do that, so I won't. Okay, we have a lot of good tips here today. I think a lot of them are good sense tips, and I'm going to bet the audience knows them. But if you didn't know any of them, or if you have different ones that I don't know about, please share them in the comments.
Subscribe to the channel and be sure to download Firefox because you know it's the best. We'll see you next time.